Your love is like radiant diamonds bursting inside us, we cannot contain. Your love will surely come find us like blazing wildfires, singing your name.
Hi y'all, I was super excited to be able to make this video. When Amanda reached out to me and asked me to do it, I was so excited because missions, ministry, serving, this is all something that I'm super passionate about, and it's been a passion of mine since I was a little girl. So when she asked if I could share, I was like, absolutely. Making videos and speaking in front of people isn't my favorite thing, so it takes a little bit for me to do this. So if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at notes. I'm still here. All right, so the first question she asked was what ministry I worked with. So I'm gonna rewind like a year and a half ago. I lived in Africa, and I was serving with a ministry called Family Legacy, where we were reaching orphans and vulnerable children, and that's where I worked. I lived there for 2 years. I worked with the kids. I got to be a part of the discipleship team, and it was literally a dream come true. That's literally had been what I've been dreaming about since I was 10, to be able to go overseas, be a missionary, and work with orphans. And I could see God's hand throughout the entire thing. I loved my job there. I loved getting up for work. I loved being able to serve. I loved getting to tell the children about God and his love for them and how he's never going to leave them and how he's always there. It was amazing. Obviously, I'm not there right now. I'm currently back home, working on my master's in counseling and praying that one day God calls me back or to somewhere new, leaving that all up in his hands, to be able to use this to further his kingdom. So that's kind of where I am right now. Little side note, I'm also working with some of my friends in Zambia, and we're starting an organization. Can't get into a ton of details on it because it's still in the work, but our aim is to help kids who have AIDS to be able to go to school and get the medicine they need and to live the most normal life that they can with the circumstances that they're under. So if y'all would be in prayer for that, that would be awesome. I'm excited to see how God's going to use that to further his kingdom. And the second question she asked was, how has God been using me? I think when I lived in Africa, I was able to see that more clearly. I was able to see every day how God was using me to show his love to these children who needed him. And it was a lot easier to see daily what that looked like. Looking at it now, it's a little bit harder to see. I'm nannying as I'm working my way through college, and to be honest, a lot of times it's been really discouraging because it's the same old day after day. But recently God has allowed me to share about Jesus to my nanny family, and I'm starting to see that even in the mundane daily things that we may see as normal, boring, we're not doing anything, God's working. And sometimes we just need to be faithful where he has us. And you never know the impact that you're having on the people you're with or the job you're at and the light that you can be for Jesus and the ministry that you can have right where you are. So I'd say that's how God's been using me. What challenges have I faced? Moving home from Africa was very difficult. That was where my heart was. That's what I loved. It was my dream. And so when God called me back home to start school, that was really, really hard for me. And it was hard, still is, to be content when I so want to be back in Africa serving there. So that's been one of the biggest challenges, to just be content where God has me and to see that God has me here for a purpose and that he's calling me to do maybe something different here, but that doesn't mean that later in life he might call me back. So I think that's the challenge, just being content and thankful for where God has me right now. How I stay focused. There is a lot of different things to stay focused, but I think mainly being in the Word. I think reading the Bible, praying, putting my eyes on Jesus, not getting distracted by everything around me. I think those are all little ways of how I'm able to stay focused right where God has me. And remembering that God has each of us in a place for a specific reason. And even though we might not see it, he's working. So whether he calls you to, working at a restaurant or nannying or whatever God's called you to do, that is your ministry that he has put you in, and he's called you to be faithful. So I just wanted to end with one of my favorite verses. It's Isaiah 6:8, and it says, "And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, 'Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?' Then I said, 'Here I am, send me.'" And I guess that verse I just love because are you going to be faithful where God's called you? Maybe your ministry doesn't look glamorous, or maybe you're not overseas working in an orphanage, but God's called you right where you are, and he sent you for a specific purpose. So I guess that's my challenge for y'all. Keep following where God's called you and trust that where he has you right now, he's using you. Thanks.